Before the dawn of angels, before the first spark of demonic fire, and long before the rise of mortal men, there existed beings whose shadows stretched across the tapestry of creation itself. These were the Old Ones, primordial architects, arbiters of fate, monsters, and makers whose ancient deeds still echo through every realm. Their legacies are woven into the foundations of all that is, shaping the destiny of gods, demons, and horsemen alike. I'm Vigil, and this is Video Game Lore. The saga of the Old Ones begins now. Older than the hosts of heaven, the legions of hell, or the children of man, Old Ones is the name given to every race of being whose age eclipses the three kingdoms. Among these ancients, none stand taller in the Darksiders mythos than the Charred Council and the Makers. Their influence woven through every war and every revelation. The Charred Council stands as the cosmic judge, their one purpose to maintain balance between the first and second kingdoms. They believe that unchecked power leads inevitably to destruction, and thus, they hold the balance as law above all else. In their pursuit of this doctrine, they drafted the last four Nephilim to become their sword and shield, the Horsemen of the Apocalypse, enforcers of the Council's law, and arbiters of the End War. Only the Council, and all of creation, possess the authority and might to enforce balance between heaven and hell. The Makers are even older than the Charred Council. They are the legendary architects, creators of worlds and the forges of reality itself. Yet, even their realm was not immune to corruption, and over time, the darkness crept in, overtaking the very heart of their domain. From the abyss, a realm of ancient chaos and darkness, emerged the Abyssal Creatures. These monstrosities, as old as the void, are beings of immense size and staggering variety. To call them a race is misleading. They are a multitude of subtypes, each more bizarre and terrifying than the last. Echidna and Silitha are vast spider lords. Tiamat is a monstrous bat. Straga stands as a humanoid titan, and the Stygian is a worm of unimaginable girth. Some abyssal creatures possess cunning and intellect, while others are little more than ravenous beasts, and some display only a brutal animalistic instinct. Loyalty among them is rare. They seldom bear allegiance to one another, and are often found subjugated by, or summoned to serve, greater beings. The Destroyer enlisted many as his chosen, making them generals and champions of his armies. Others, like the Suffering and the Nos, were forced into his legions. Undead lords such as Argul and Basilius also bent abyssal creatures to their will. The Mad Smith, in his madness, created the Abyssal Forge to harness their dark energies and birth his own constructs, though these are not truly abyssal creatures. Among the ancient horrors of the Abyss, there are the Chosen, a cadre of monsters so old and powerful they predate even the angels and the demons. These beings, often pressed into service as generals or shock troops, are the favored weapons of the universe's greatest warlords. The Destroyer, seeking to block war's path, appointed 5 of these as his most trusted and dreadful lieutenants. To open the way to the Black Throne, War had to slay 4 of the Chosen and deliver their hearts to Samael. For each heart contained a remnant of power Samael had lost. The Chosen are legion, but 5 stand above the rest as the Destroyer's most notorious underlings. A monstrous bat, Tiamat made her lair within the Twilight Cathedral. When War arrived, she had already slain the angelic beast he rode in on, and sought to bargain for her life. She offered War anything he wished, breaking into mad laughter when he asked if she could restore the balance. War ended her with a brutal flourish, tearing out her beating heart. In myth, Tiamat is the Babylonian goddess of the abyss and chaos, her name echoing the primordial sea. A hulking insect of colossal size, Griever ruled the Hollow and kept the swarm as her pets. Ulthane, the Maker, despised her presence. Griever displayed little intelligence, acting on base instinct, never uttering a word. War hunted her through the abandoned tunnels of the city, ultimately smashing a train into her head and ripping her heart out from her chest. The undisputed king of the Ashworms, the Stygian, dwarfed all others of his kind. Lesser demons foolishly tried to tame it for sport, but only found death. The Stygian broke free from its captors, War ultimately slaying it in the Battle of Titans and claiming its heart for Samael. The name Stygian alludes to the darkness of the river Styx, a river of the Greek underworld and Greek mythology. Dwelling in the Iron Canopy, Silitha was a monstrous spider who collected interesting souls for their stories before feeding them to her offspring. She ensnared War in a massive web, but he broke free, fought through her brood, and brought her down, impaling her on the black spikes and tearing out her heart. She told War that the Chosen's true purpose was to keep Samael from regaining his lost strength. The mightiest of the Chosen, Straga, was a hulking, dim-witted brute fused to the Destroyer's tower. He defeated Abaddon during the End War, turning the battle in Hell's favor and earning the Council's ire. Straga became the jailer of Azrael, Angel of Death, and was finally destroyed by War, who gouged out his eyes and split his skull from within using the Void Walker, bringing the Black Throne crashing down and cutting the Destroyer off from the Well of Souls. Other chosen and abyssal horrors encountered by Fury and Death include the Grok, Agony, the Flame Warden, the Templar of the Damned, the Corrupted Tomekeeper, Bathir, the Suffering, Echidna, the Nos, and Frostbane, each a monster of legend, their stories woven into the larger tapestry of creation's wars and betrayals. Again, we come back to the Charred Council. They are the ancient mediators, formed by the Creator himself, to moderate the endless war between heaven and hell. When mankind, the Third Kingdom, emerged from the chaos, the Council intervened, enforcing a fragile truce that allowed humanity to grow free from obliteration. The Council's domain is shrouded in flame and mystery, its true nature unknown, even to the Horsemen who serve them. Physically, the Council appear as three massive, fiery heads, though their true number and identities remain unknown. Even their own enforcers are unsure if the Council is a singular entity or a trinity. Each head speaks with a different voice. The first tends to be harsh and accusatory. The second is ever questioning and sees the far-reaching consequences of crime. And the third is slow to rouse, wise, and often fair. Yet, as a whole, the Council is quick to anger and notoriously impatient. Despite their mandate to uphold the balance, the Council has long been accused of paranoia and hypocrisy. They trust no one, not even their own horsemen, and are obsessed with power. When Absalom led the Nephilim and their genocidal crusade, it was the Council who empowered four dissenters: death, war, fury, and strife, turning them into the Horsemen and sending them to Eden to slaughter their kin. The Council ordered the Nephilim's souls destroyed, but death defied them, giving the souls to the Crowfather for safekeeping. Throughout history, the Council's interventions have been marked by manipulation and self-interest. They forged the seven seals to safeguard creation, setting 3 with the angels, 3 with the demons, and 1 with themselves. Only when mankind was ready to join the balance would the seals be broken, unleashing the end war. The Council's ruthlessness is legendary. They created the Watchers as their eyes and ears, binding them to the Horsemen to ensure loyalty. Even the Watchers are not safe from the Council's wrath, as shown when a Watcher was executed for reporting on the premature apocalypse without sanction. Throughout the saga, the Council's machinations have been revealed, framing war for the early apocalypse, unleashing the 7 deadly sins, torturing their own horsemen for defiance, and plotting to erase any threat, including humanity itself, that could disrupt their power. The ability to grant and strip power, inflict unbearable pain, and manipulate the fate of all 3 kingdoms makes them one of the most feared and unpredictable forces in the cosmos. The Crowfather is an ancient entity, his history veiled in mystery. His black-winged familiars scour creation, gathering secrets that he jealously guards. Living a reclusive existence in the frozen world known as the Veil, the Crowfather is the ultimate keeper of secrets. When Death was ordered by the Charred Council to destroy the amulet carrying the souls of the Nephilim, he insisted in trusting it to the Crowfather. To bear the torment of the amulet, the Crowfather bound the crow dust to death, forging a link between them. War, Hadramon, and Belisatra sought the secrets of the abominations. They first tried to bargain, then sent an army of constructs to seize the knowledge by force. The Crowfather, despite his immense power, was nearly overcome, saved only by Death's intervention, who arrived through a vision sent by Dust. Together, Death and the Crowfather annihilated the constructs. The Crowfather helped Death interrogate a dead construct, fusing the soul of a dying crow with its memories so Death could extract the truth. Afterward, the Crowfather discovered that an angel had orchestrated the attack and relayed this to Death through another vision. After the apocalypse, Death returned to beg the Crowfather's help in resurrecting humanity and clearing War's name. The Crowfather, embittered by the torment of the amulet, demanded Death destroy it in exchange for access to the Tree of Life. When Death refused, the Crowfather transformed into War and fought him. Mortally wounded, the Crowfather relented, his body dissolving into crows, as the amulet shattered and its shards embedded in Death's chest. In Death, the Crowfather's soul entered the city of the dead, where he met death again and aided him in his final quest, guiding him to the Well of Souls and helping him in choosing between resurrecting humanity or the Nephilim. The Crowfather's wisdom, arcane might, and bemused sense of horror made him a formidable force, one whose secrets shaped the fate of the world. Again we return to the Makers, a race of old ones as ancient as the universe itself. Neutral in the endless conflict between heaven and hell, they devoted their eons to the crafting of entire worlds and civilizations. Their homeland, the Forged Lands, lies at the universe's edge, balancing creation with destruction. Within the Forged Lands, the Makers dwell in Tristone, a city of living stone and smoldering forges. They once filled the land with temples, foundries, and constructs of immense power, such as the Wardens and the Guardian. Unlike mortals, the Makers' souls are too ancient to pass into the kingdom of the dead. Instead, they are forged into heartstones, which animate new constructs and preserve the memory of their creators. Maker society can be informal, but deeply respectful of elders and shamans. Elders like Idard are revered for their wisdom. Shamans like Miria guide the Maker's spiritual life, while master forgers like Alia and Valis create wonders in the Tri-Stone Forge. Warriors like Thane teach mastery in battle, and young makers like Karn yearn for adventure. The Mad Smith, banished for his creation of the Abyssal Forge, lingers in the shadows, while legends of Ulthane, the Black Hammer, shape the fate of worlds by forging the Armageddon Blade. Each maker, from the wise to the wild, plays a role in defending the balance, even as their realm falls under the shadow of corruption. The Phantom Horses, with their spectral forms and shadowed eyes, are the steed of the Horsemen and the Abyssal Riders. Overseen by the mysterious Horsemaster in the far fields, these magical beasts can only be tamed by those of indomitable will. Each horseman's mount, ruin, despair, mayhem, and rampage, was won in the far fields and forever after matched to the rider's soul. The Phantom Horses can disappear and reappear at will, and their loyalty is legendary, but they may be driven to madness or turned against their masters if corrupted. The Horsemaster himself is a being of profound serenity and terrifying wrath. Death considered him one of the most dangerous beings in creation, second only to himself in the power to bring eternal darkness. The Horsemaster's compassion for Earth runs deep, for he has seen that whenever heaven and hell rage, it's always the third kingdom that pays the price. Next, we have Ostegoth, whom death meets in the kingdom of the dead. He claims to be of an ancient race that no longer exists, and now, as a merchant, selling wares to any who will buy coin. The Lord of Hollows stands apart, a towering, skeletal figure, garbed in black and gold, with eyes burning like orange coals, wielding a staff of iron, and bearing what looks like the Ark of the Covenant chained to his back. The Hollow Lord can contain the souls of any angel, demon, or human who has grown weary of endless war. He views the council with contempt, seeing through their machinations and calling Fury herself blind to their lies. His power is mysterious, but his purpose is clear, to grant true release to those lost in the cycle of conflict. Thus, the legend of the Old Ones endures. Beings whose wisdom and ambition shape the balance, whose secrets and betrayals haunt even the most powerful in existence. From the Charred Council's fiery judgment, to the abyssal nightmares, to the Maker's world-forging hands, their influence is escapable and eternal. Yet the roots of creation dive even deeper. In our next chapter, we will turn our gaze to the Makers themselves, the ancient artisans who built worlds, forged weapons of legend, and whose forges once burned with the promise of hope and ruined. Like, comment, share, and subscribe to join me, Vigil from Video Game Lore, as we journey even deeper into the mythos of Darksiders. The story is only just beginning, and I will see you all in the next one.